Now.
Excellent.
Hey everybody, it's Vanessa Joy. I'm here with my husband.
Joe Roselle.
And we're Rosie Joy. We have the honor of having Tom Althouse join us today. Tom has been a figure in, I would say, the screenplay writing world, probably since a lot of you have been alive. About how long have you been writing, Tom?
Since I was 5 years old. Yeah, long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
My birthday's actually on the clock in the Animatrix, and my birthday's also inserted in the Matrix first graphics, so everybody will see how old I am. But yeah.
Well, that's what a lot of people, a lot of our listeners and readers, they've grown up with the Matrix, and even though the Matrix is a household name, Tom Althouse might not be. And that's why we brought him here today to share his story. Really, Tom alleges that he was basically swindled out of his idea for the Matrix, which has gone on to produce 3 films, and they have another 2 in the works, I believe.
Yes, and 3 other ripped off ones during the, when our case was actually thrown, they threw our case, we had no due process. They announced, had all my notes and everything, announced 3 others outright for that: Elysium, Oblivion, and Sense8. So yeah.
Yeah, so this all stemmed from your work called The Immortals. Right. The screenplay of The Immortals. I'd like you to take our listeners through your headspace when you were writing The Immortals, and just tell us about it, because a lot of people, even though, like I said, they grew up with the Matrix, yet they've never heard of The Immortals.
Right, that's the thing. The interesting thing is that The Immortals is actually the title that Warner Brothers and Dino Laurentiis, who wined and dined the Wachowskis, you know, to bring them to Hollywood, that's what they copyrighted. They didn't copyright Matrix, they copyrighted The Immortals. And it's really fascinating that they chose to do that. And then you'll see that there's like 347 different titles under Immortals in the Copyright Office, no body of work, so they can have a slot to put any work that is taken off my work into that slot and claim it under another title. For fans of the work, the Wachowskis actually didn't use one of those 347 titles. They picked The Matrix, which was off the page, and they broke the rules that Hollywood had.
Well, I'd like to ask you, who knew about the screenplay as you were writing it?
I was actually with Senator David Boren of Oklahoma, his niece, Otika Ball, and a little entourage of actresses and beauty pageant people who had kind of gravitated, and we were working together to try to whisper through art what was going on in our world, which has now really come to the surface in our world, not to get on the heavy end. But so they were part of an entourage that was actually there when I was pitching it to Bonaventura, Lorenzo D. Bonaventura, who still claims that he discovered and shepherded the Matrix story in Wikipedia. Executive for Warner Brothers. So it's a really hot trail that we now have an attorney who's going to bring us forward. We're actually going to do the real case now, and she's saying it's hands down. So yeah.
And these are all players that are in the LA life. This happened all in Hollywood.
That's right. If you want, if you want to, I can launch right in and show you a graphic where Bonaventura actually says it. If you want me to share screen something for you.
Yeah, please do.
Let's go right to it then. I'm going to go ahead and share screen. Let's see if I can get this up. Host disabled. Oh, you have to activate it. That's right. I'm sorry. So if you can activate your share screen, there should be a button there. I'm learning Zoom too.
Share screen. Okay.
Something that says go ahead and activate. It says host is disabled right now, but you just flip a switch, and it should say screen sharing.
Multiple participants. There, I think that might have done it.
Let me see if I can get it now. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, good job. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to go right to my page, and I'm going to call something up for you right here. Let me go right to my page. Okay. Am I showing up?
Yeah, you are.
Here we go then. Here we go. Watch this now. My son has Steam. Okay, I'm going to activate this item right here. Where'd it go? Wait, where'd it go? Sorry about that. There's something. I'm going to X that out. 1 second. Sorry about that. There's all these already up. I'm just going to X these out. Goodness gracious, Tom. Sorry about that. The joys of multimedia. There's so much here. Our story has so much to it that it's like it is a lot of material. Let me see if I can call this up now. Come on. Oh, there you are, hiding in the corner. Here we go. Sorry about that. So here, This is Wikipedia, right? Lorenzo di Bonaventura, the executive from Warner Brothers. And you'll see right here in this little section, if you can see it, I'll blow it up a second. Okay, if you can see this here. He actually says right here, included discovering and shepherding the Matrix into production, right? What's interesting is he also says that he's one of the few that understood the work. Yes, because I pitched it in full to him on the line after his best friend, Lenny Coco, who had me give him the script and had me come up to his house and pitch it to him. I actually have Lenny Coco on tape saying, yeah, you were at the house pitching it. So Lorenzo di Bonaventura in the early 90s was the executive at Warner Brothers Pictures. And that's who I pitched it to. And
for people who don't know Lenny Coco, wasn't he involved in a music group?
You are so good. Yes. Go. You're the first one that ever got that. Yes, Lenny Coco and the Chimes. He was one of the top ballads of all time, one of the top 100. And
folks, these are not nobodies. These are people who are well known in the industry who saw the Immortals before anyone else did.
That's right. And then what you see happen is he claims he's one of the few. That's so great you know that. So one of the few that actually understands the work, which is interesting because the Hollywood suit said they know it's cool, they don't understand it. And that leads to fans getting the connection where the Wachowskis actually, to take the work, they didn't understand it either, insiders said. So they simply lifted the images they thought were cool and unique and innovative and tried to take credit for those by lifting them into a visual storyboard. And now we have people like Brad Martin, who was a fight choreographer for Matrix, coming forward now saying, yes, the script was on set. Yes, they made it up as they went along. Yes, that the visual storyboard was used in hand with the other script. And that's how they came up with their, they made up. That's why there was a debate on how to end it in the end. So isn't that cool?
Well, it is actually. And I want to know, because right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Immortals remains unpublished. Is that correct?
It is basically a great question. The answer is a layered one. I'll try to keep it concise in a nutshell. Yes, the actual original work has not been made yet, but that's where the key to bringing down Hollywood is, the change Hollywood, the new Hollywood, they're calling it. Paparazzi are even saying, just stay alive, Tom, you got this. We got people working for you. It's common knowledge. Even Quentin, the Batman, stuntman for Warner Brothers, asked around and said, yeah, it's common knowledge we're stolen from. So it's all known. And so you have people that are doing this, but they're fans of your work, and the Wachowskis don't understand it. They even said the little girl is just a subplot. No, she's integral to the satisfying ending. So what you have is you have all these people that know in the industry, they're just waiting for the public to catch up. And you have the Easter eggs just planted throughout the thing. And then we'll look at that right in a second here. And so, yeah, it's like, it hasn't been made as is yet. But when we do, here's the catch. It is the key, the golden key now. They actually call me the golden goose, the star player on the bench now. These are Hollywood contacts from Disney saying this, right? They're really the head of the octopus in this. So before Bob Iger got fired, his assistant was calling us the day before I did the interview. He's calling us saying he wants to talk to you. Bob Iger wants to talk to you. Well, that's pretty big, head of Disney, right? And I did the interview that night talking about Bob Iger wants to call, right? It's on, I taped it off my phone, right? And so there it is from assistant. And I also talked about the pedophile rings that go on, but we won't go into that now. Anyway, the next day they have a pedophile sting at Disney and they fired Bob Iger. So it's like we say, boo, goodbye. So
and I remember reading about that, and it just made me want to say to you, you've shown so much bravery, because these are not benign people that you're dealing with.
No.
These are the type of corporations that when you speak out, you are David, they are the Goliath.
I can't, you guys are so in touch. I mean, what do you have, radar? It's exactly what people are saying. That's a language they use, David against Goliath.
Yeah.
I like it. You guys are good. You guys are good. You guys, I'm going to It's like, yeah.
So when you were like, okay, I've written this masterpiece, I've written the Immortals, and you put your stamp by Tom Althouse, the Immortals by Tom Althouse. And you take it, do you pitch it or do you just sit on it?
That's the amazing thing. I was actually at Robertson's organization, Pat Robertson, that evangelical, who's just like, yikes. Yeah, not a good guy. Sorry to say. Yeah. But anyway, not to get on the dark side of it. Yeah, he was interested in stopping my work because I was whispering through art what his agenda was. So here's a guy who's whispering through art, who's being groomed to be the face of the Christian coalition with all information being privy to, right? And then I'm being downed, I'm being trounced because I'm not saying what they want to hear. I'm actually saying, well, we should lift everybody. We should, that's code for wrong answer. in the industry.
Okay.
Right? You're not supposed to lift everybody. We're supposed to filter out some and just have the elite. So it really is the word. So I didn't say the right thing. So anyway, what happens is I lose everything. Robertson doesn't want me to succeed. And so what happens is he has a student, actually, he has two professors. One's a model management lady named Judy Nankovich. Another is her husband, Ned Nankovich. And they approach me and go, oh, Tom, it's terrible what happened to you. You lost everything. Give it to us. Judy just got top positions in Universal and Disney in their story development department. Now, how does a model get top coveted positions out in the West Coast when she's on the East Coast? And that's not even her thing. She doesn't write. That's not her forte. So how did she suddenly get those? And then I give my work over naively, and it ends up in whose hands? Mike Lang, Harvey Weinstein, Michael Eisner, and over with Universal. So right away it was taken. Now they didn't understand it. So Context said they don't understand your work. So what happens next? Nadia Centino is a student at Robertson's organization. So she's tapped. Her father-in-law is Lenny Coco, who you're one of the brightest people to know that, what Lenny Coco is. On team. Anyway, so yeah, I like bright people.
Thank you. Thank you.
So anyway, yeah, so Lenny Coco is her father-in-law. So what's going to happen? Perfect setup. So yeah, he gives my screenplay through, Nadia, she's a very pretty girl. It's like, here, Tom, I want it out of the blue. Let me get your work to him. Oh, okay. So I gave her my work, and it goes to Bonaventura, best friends Lenny Coco. Now, it doesn't stop there. Lenny Coco also is related to the firm that they're going to throw my case with. They're related. So they have it all set up ahead of time. It's the art of war. So later, we can all get into it later. But right now,
I want to ask, so before the trial happened, and can you give us the date that the trial began?
Well, they had everything in place to throw it, and it really was a period between 2009 to 2014. It took that long for them to do it.
And had you had any dialogue with the Wachowskis at that point?
No, they kept all discovery off the charts. In fact, we have a tape of their attorneys, and it's miraculous. We can actually use it because the attorney they supplied to throw my case had a tape recorder that matched mine. And the only depositions that were done were mine, of course, 7.5 grueling hours. And so he's taping it illegally. And so what happens is at the end, he hands the wrong tape recorder back. He handed me his. So I have them on tape saying, we have no working drafts for Matrix. There are no working drafts. So we're not going to give you any discovery. It's a moot point to ask for it. It's on tape. So
well, it really seems that during your trial, the trades, Variety, whatnot, it seemed that they had already convicted you of being a Looney Tune before anything came out. What do you have to say about that?
Well, see, look who broke the news. TMZ broke the news, right? TMZ is owned by Warner Brothers. Their attorney is the same one that threw our case. Linda Burrow is TMZ's attorney and Warner Brothers' attorney. See? So they had it all set like Art of War. That's what people need to realize. But the thing is, the summary judgment, we never even got a chance to have any discovery. That's why that tape with them saying they have nothing to give, we're not going to give you discovery because we don't have working drafts, unheard of in copyright law. So we have them on fraud. That's why we're coming back now. We'll win because we'll win them on fraud. And their attorneys now, through contacts, are saying they're afraid of going to jail. So we got them. So we got a case coming. You haven't seen a case yet. That's their talking point of, you lost your case. No, we never had our day in court yet. And in fact, we are going to now. So we're going to now. No, that was all plant and supply and illegal moves and gamemanship. So now we will. In fact, the summary judgment, they picked Robertson's attorney and Bush's attorney. The first pick to federal court, LA, was this Gary Klausner. And he was picked by Robertson to be an attorney, a judge that would handle this. So he wouldn't be a second-class citizen anymore, make rulings that he wants. So it was all set up. And so his summary judgment said something like, it's not worth going into the matchups. Really? Jax the Neck are not worth going into as a matchup? I would say that's pretty iconic. And the Wachowskis said in an interview they want to do Jax the Neck for real. So you see what we're sitting on? We're going to win. And they're saying we've already won the chess game. And they're saying we're worth $1 billion. So now you'll see our day in court. Now you'll see it. So I've been turning to contact me. Yeah,
thank you. And thank you for clarifying that, because I've been operating under the premise that you lost and it's closed.
No, it's totally thrown. They even supplied my own wife. The attorney that they used to throw the case was the landlord of the wife they supplied me, who pretended she was this pristine lady. She had a criminal record and been in jail for prostitution.
Well, can we delve a little bit into the Hollyweird Hollywood machine? Have you felt personally attacked at any point, spilling over into your personal life?
I have 2 murdered sons, and the contacts tell me they're murdered by Hollywood and FBI.
And my deepest condolences to you. No parent should have to bury a child, let alone 2.
No.
And can you just walk us through that personal nightmare?
Let me tell you about this. This is what we're doing. We're actually going to publish the playbook of Hollywood and FBI. They're one group, California FBI. And what they do is they basically see that intellectual property worth its salt is worth billions of dollars. And so what they do is you're only destroying one family. They use the word destroy. One family, and you made a fortune, you distribute it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had contacts saying, and I have them on tape actually saying, Disney contacts, Warner Brothers contacts, Steven Spielberg's contacts, saying they're going to destroy you. Now I thought that was sort of metaphoric, or something like a Hollywood speak talk, but it's actually, they mean destroy you. And the formula is very archaic. It's very Stone Age. What they're doing is they're going to kill your male heirs first. Then they're going to take your women to bed. It's like some bad movie by nerds on hormones. And so they take your women from you and sleep with them. In fact, Mike Lang, Harvey Weinstein's boss, we have the email they tried to strike from our devices, where we have the email where he sends my ex, who was the criminal record, they didn't tell me about that first, saying, Becca, move in with me for 60 days, showing Spokane, Washington's historic property, Lang's on Howard, and also the shaving kit with a bed on it, bed with a shaving kit on it, his. And it has that written under it, on my birthday for maximum effect. That's part of the playbook, see? So
and that's what, it really, when people say, I'm going to take vengeance on you in biblical proportions, what you just described is what you think about. And that's scary. I'm getting goosebumps. It's scary.
That's why this father of 3, I still feel like I'm a father of 3. And my 2 boys are with me. What they didn't understand in Hollywood, they say on tape, I asked, why would you do this? And the contacts start answering my questions. They call me the library now at Disney. Library, I'm the library, they call me. The Disney contact says, how's the library? Because of all the questions, I had the presence of mind to, when they had contacts call, which I learned as part of the playbook, they try to demean you and get you to want to die. So they'll say things like, nobody loves you, everybody hates you, why don't you do the world a favor and kill yourself? But if you keep a presence of mind and actually are not antagonizing them and dialogue with them, they start to like you. They're actually fans of your work. So then they become informants. And so then they start answering questions. So I had the presence of mind to ask the right questions. Now I have them all on tape. So I can write the playbook and show it for proof. As we go into our case, this will be part of that case that will actually be held. So what they say is, I say, why would this done to me? They'll say, it's all about power, Tom, right? And I'll say, well, why would, they say it's all about power. And I said, well, don't they understand writers who are writing out of concern for others and lifting humanity and out of benevolence, a core of, being kind and compassion? No, Tom, they just understand power. That's it.
Well, Tom, I've got to ask you, and this is a burning question with anybody who's heard your story, what is it that the Wachowskis got wrong about The Matrix?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Every single image they lifted in that storyboard, they cheapened, lessened, they said they didn't understand it. In fact, the person who called me to inform me about the insert you're going to see, where they stuck that first graphic in the interrogation scene and stuck all my stuff in it. And there's graphic designer Susanna Bolgen, we have the article, they struck it, but we have the article, said that stacking the items is a way to complete the joke and get by the clearance department. So you're gonna look at items that are actually my personal items, stuck in the first graphic, stacked to make the joke. And then they put their own people who did it in that joke also. I will illustrate that in a moment. But that's what's so cool is we got them. There's no way around it. I mean, we can't go to every single film, DVD, and VHS even, and alter it to say, okay, take my high school out, my birthday out, my name, my dad's name, my name out. It's all there stacked. It's my stuff. And then you have the clock in the Animatrix, right? With my corrected birthday exactly on it, which I'm going to show you in a second. That can't be, that's like winning the lottery 20 times over, right? I mean, how many films can you find where your birthday's on a clock watch exactly, month, day, and year, right? Yeah. Doesn't happen, does it? So that's what it is. So the Wachowskis got everything wrong. Their job was to make it under budget. And they did an audition piece called Bound, right? Because they failed as writers, they said, in 95, fans would know in articles, they said, we failed as writers in Hollywood because they had to bring another writer in to finish Assassins. So we'd have to leave, leave Hollywood. And unless we get to direct the science project. See, Again, all those names, the titles they picked, until the Wachowskis were given my work officially to take, they weren't allowed to use the Immortals title or the other titles until they're given it. So they called it the Science Project. And they say their real work is Plastic Man and Carnivore. Their Bible is B movies, how to make money off of B movies and not lose a dime. That was their Bible. So not this expensive thing I had. So part of the deal was to get it under budget. So one of the things I'll show you is a train station scene where they did just that, and what the train station was supposed to be. So I'm glad you asked that question. If you have a particular one you want to talk about, I will address that specifically. Because you got Jax the Neck, robot-like agents, train station scene, liquid mirrors at that. You've got everything from Underground, Zion, Little Girl Pointing the Sun. It's all my stuff. So yeah, but
I do know the pod scene, and that's a big one.
Let's do that too. Let me show you something, then we'll go to the pod scene. I want to show you this right now because we addressed it. I think it's important we call this up. So I'm going to call this up right now. Can you see that screen with the clock?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Now, it may be small, kind of small to see right now. Let me see what I can do here. I might be able to give it a boost. Okay, what I want to show you right now is, let's look at the clock in the bottom right corner, right? You see that clock?
Yeah.
Gold clock? Okay, that's my exact birthday and my age. Look at the black hands. Yeah, the black hand's on a 7, July. The black hand's on a 2, July 2nd. The black hand's 1 point before the 60, July 2nd, 59.
And what do you say to Tom? What do you say to people who say that's a coincidence?
I say, I'm sorry, excuse me for being graphic, but you're full of it. It's garbage. I mean, there's no my license right there, 7/2/59. I mean, come on. One little dot anywhere else, it'd be wrong. And then let's go a little step further. How old was I in 2003 with 59 birthday?
44.
4 points to 4. The red, 4 points to 4. They did it exactly. And these are very expensive graphics, right? Usually it's 10 after 10 in Hollywood, right? Well, here's my exact birthday and my age on the red hand, on the clock, and the animatrix filling the screen.
So do you feel that they allegedly wanted to taunt you in some way?
No, they hate me. The contact said they despise me, they hate me, and the Wachowskis claim that Michelle McGahee and Owen Patterson stuck it in. Well, let's look at the big graphic. Michelle McGahee's on that big graphic, that first graphic, The Matrix. This is Animatrix in 2003, and the big graphic here with all the numbers and letters, the rap sheet, is 1999. And there's Michelle McGahee, where the yellow box is. She's Neo's mom, to make the joke. Here's Owen Patterson, the graphic design, or the, what is it, the manager or whatever. That's listed as the other school. That's a big joke. So he's Owen Patterson High. There's Owen Patterson. Here's Michelle McGahee in the credits as Neo's mom. She's the art director. So they blame them for sticking it in. So the debate is, did these guys stick this in as a warning because they don't like the Wachowskis actually? Or did they stick it in, did the Wachowskis stick it in because I'd never see it? Now, the person that contacted me said, they hate you, Tom. They don't understand your work. That's why they're lifting the images. He told me, he thought this would blow up the world and everybody would get it. Fans would go, oh my God, this is it. But he's still waiting for that to happen.
Tom, are you originally from California, or did you move there after you started writing?
I was brought out there. I was actually recruited out there, basically. So Ellen Geer, who works with Tom Hanks and Ron Howard, wanted me to be a star in Hollywood. So she had me come out and be in a show at Will Geer Theatricum.
Well, you definitely have star quality. That's not debatable.
Thank you. You're
that's not debatable.
I'm adopting you. So anyway, guys, yeah, so that's Michelle. Now look at this. This is the cool part. Look at this. So let's go to this graphic right here. So we've got this school right here, Central Bucks High School West. Now their attorneys go, Central Bucks. I'm like, well, we called it Central West High or CB West, right? And so what do they have in their graphic for the school? Central West, and they changed it to junior high. That's not much of a tweak. When you actually have, like, you know, Mars candy bars as Apollo candy bars, you know, that's what they do in like Walking Dead and stuff. But here is Central West High. They put it upside down for a split second. Susanna Bolgen said anything in for a split seconds for the director's eyes only as a joke. Keep the project interesting. So here we go. So here's my high school, Central West High. That's blatant. There's my diploma. You've got my birthday as it was in 1996 and 99 records. My birthday in the records was listed as July 22nd. So here in 1999, they put July 22nd. And 2003, when it's corrected, what do? July 2nd, my exact birthday.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Allegedly, the Neo character was originally named Thomas.
Right here.
Correct.
You are so smart, you guys. Yes, right here, Thomas A. My name, Thomas A, is Neo. It's in the graphic. So yes, he has 2 names to make the joke. And look at the Anderson. Where does Anderson come from? It's my Scottish clan name, Anderson. So you got Tom, they're overboard. The contact said, Larry's obsessed with you. He's obsessed with you. He wants you dead. He doesn't understand your work. This is to save his career. And quote, it was to be a ladder for him. Otherwise, he was threatening he was going to commit suicide.
Well, Tom, we want to also ask you, because there's so many young writers out there, including Joe and myself, who don't know how to navigate these Hollywood waters.
Right.
What advice can you give to up and coming writers on how to keep their work protected while still shopping it around?
Fantastic question. Write your work down. Don't do it digitally. Write it out. Write it down. I have 14 other screenplays ready to go, better than The Matrix, and they're new. And there's been these debates, and now that's what actually kept my son alive. My last son is they know I have 14 others. And now I'm being offered to fly out to Hollywood and air flight paid for a hotel. They're interested in our real life story now. So contacts are saying you've won the chess game, Tom. And the question is, will I go forward and reveal the pedophile rings and things like that and help writers? Or will I take the gold and just shut up and have a wonderful life? Well, I won't have a wonderful life if I have the responsibility of other people and other children needing my help. So I'm going to see it through. As a father, I do it in honor of the memory of my son. It's not a little joke.
Yeah, I've seen you be very involved in the truth movement, things on Twitter, and it's refreshing. That's kind of how I found you, is you're getting promotion from the Q movement. And is there advice? I know the Q movement, there's people that say they're part of it, but is there any advice for knowing who to follow?
Love that question. You guys are just made from heaven. I love you guys. I love you guys. You guys are great. That's who I wrote for. This is fantastic. So I know you'll get this stuff. It's like, yes, great question. I just got a call from the University of Chicago, and they did a thing about, they're doing this research work on people that are involved with Q and outside of Q and things like that. And so I spent some time, and I told them, answering that very question, I said that, what we need to do is keep who you are sacred. Keep who you are centered, your message sacred. You can create new work if you're not homogenized. Keep who you are, your diversity, your ability, your uniqueness, your backgrounds. Hold and embrace that and bring that to your work. And then everybody will have different work. It'll be great. We can all celebrate. That's why I want to give my copyright to every man, woman, and child once we win this case, so that we can each do their own take. It's meant for you to immerse in the work. Wachowski said that, but they didn't understand what they were talking about. I left a lot of backstory out so you can immerse in the work, make it your own story, and you turn to your neighbor to ask what it means. How many people are still trying to figure out what the Matrix means? But you have it's designed for, right? So
and that brings, what we wish for you, because we're always going to be on the side of the victim and not the oppressor. And I just wish for you to get the due that your art is supposed to get. And I know that there's going to be people who will say, hey, now the Matrix makes sense to me.
Well, that's wonderful what you just said. When you put the images back the way they were in context, and I want to address, you talked about the field of pods. Like, what did they do to, what was it different when they lifted it? Right? Let's talk about that, because they didn't care about, I love what you said too. They don't care about making sense of it. They said, let audiences figure it out for themselves. They didn't care about ripping the spine out of that work, my heart's work, my soul in that work. I called it my child, right? And not my family. And they didn't care about that. They said, let them figure them out for themselves. They just want to get clever credit for those unique images, right? That's why I was riddled with jokes, to feel more clever. That's what the guy said. So I want to call up something for you. I think we'll answer that question. Joe, hold on to your question again and make sure I answer that, because that's a really, really valuable question. So I'm going to go share, and I want to show you something really, really freaky cool. Okay, here we go. Because just one matchup wins it. You remember the Wachowski said they wanted to do Jackson Neck for real? When you direct access, one matchup wins it, and tell me we're not going to win. All these were blocked. What Klausner did when he threw the case, paid well to do that, he said it's not worth going into the matchups. Really? Only one of them win it. And when you're doing an MSJ or summary judgment, you're supposed to lean in favor of the plaintiffs, and if there is any evidence at all, you're supposed to bring them before a jury. Let's look at one of those things right here. Here's the original train station scene with some overlays. And this is from the actual pages from the 1998 version of my work.
Oh, we're losing you, Tom.
You still there?